Hello and welcome to another episode of the Good Hearted Podcast. It's kind of ironic that I'm doing this topic today, which is different ways to soothe your anxiety, because I've already recorded this episode. And for whatever reason, my internet connection went out and nothing was saved. So it was great. So we are going to try this again. I had to use some of these coping mechanisms after I realized that all of the talking I had done for like 30 minutes was just gone. So I am like hoping, and I've got my fingers crossed that that does not happen today, because I might not be so calm if that happens to me again. So anyway, today I'm going to be sharing some things that I've done to kind of just help me cope with and soothe my anxiety. I am by no means any kind of expert, except an expert in having anxiety and trying my darndest to, cope with it and still live my life without constantly being overrun with my feelings of anxiety. So I think I was living with anxiety for a long, long time before I realized that I was. Like, finally in my mid 20s, I was like, oh, these like meltdowns that I'm having once a month aren't just because I'm getting my period. It's also because I'm burnt out, I'm stressed out, and I'm anxious about every damn thing. And so the last couple years, I've really been better about recognizing when those feelings of anxiety are building up and doing my best to kind of fight them off or push back against them and keep them from really like overriding all of my other emotions and taking my day on a very bad turn. Because I don't know about you, but for me, when my anxiety gets out of hand, it's literally like my toddler throwing a fit. It's like, I don't know what to do. I feel totally out of control. And like, I don't have the right tools and methods to like get it back under control. So managing your anxiety takes a lot of practice and a lot of patience to really understand it and then learn how to manage it better, how to turn your day around and not let your anxious feelings get the best of you. So, like I said, I am by no means an expert. I am just here trying to help you because I know those feelings of anxiety can be so overwhelming and depleting and exhausting. And I'm sure you're like me in the fact that you just want to be a little bit better at managing your anxiety. Anxiety can come in all kinds of different forms and ways, and different things can trigger it. And so I think just by being able to recognize that those are the feelings of anxiety that you're having, you can then take the step to try to cope with it in a way that is constructive and will actually help kind of push back down that anxiety or overcome it, one of the two. And so I think the first step in really managing and coping with and soothing your anxiety is being able to call it out when it's happening, to be able to just slow down and say, whoa, like anxiety is definitely taking the driver's seat right now, even though I don't want it to. Where are these feelings coming from? And being able to say, is it some kind of fear because of this situation that I'm about to enter? Is it because I'm overthinking the things that I'm going to say or what I'm going to wear? Or am I uncomfortable and I feel like people are looking at me and like that's what's making me anxious? Just being able to kind of tap on those brakes a little bit and say, whoa, like before this anxiety clouds my entire mind, let's call it out. Let's find out where these things are coming from, where these feelings are rising up, and how can we kind of like redirect to get it back under control. I don't know about you, but I feel like I function with stress and anxiety all the time. There are tons of different things that can trigger these feelings for me. And I'm almost in a constant state of stress, which is not ideal by any means, but it's kind of just the world that we live in these days. And I think it's really important to nurture our minds and call out that anxiety so that we don't feel like we're totally controlled by it all the time, even if it's like our partner that's just always there and nagging the hell out of us. We can still try to take back that driver's seat and be in control of our emotions and our mindset. This is not always easy to do. Again, I'm just like trying to share with you some things that have helped me based on my own experiences. So, I want to get right into the different ways that I try to soothe my anxiety when those feelings come up. And the very first thing is to have resources readily available for you when you need them. It is very overwhelming for me to go and do some kind of research, look up an article or a TikTok or a YouTube video on how to deal with a specific feeling when I'm in that feeling. I'm already overwhelmed. I'm already anxious and nervous. I don't need something else to contribute to that. And so I like to have screenshots in my phone, like in my favorites folder, or a specific like anxiety folder in my photos on my phone. That way I can go look at it whenever I'm feeling down or feeling anxious or just in my head too much. And basically, I will just go on Instagram or Pinterest, and whenever I see a quote or some kind of graphic that resonates with me and helps me to feel calm or just remind me that I am not my anxiety, I have anxiety. Those are the kinds of things that I want on my phone so that I can quickly scroll through them or just look at one specific one and be able to kind of take some deep breaths as I take in that affirmation that is telling me that I can do this, I can push through it, that it is not something that is going to take over me. And then on kind of the flip side of that, I also like to have audio options available to help me when I'm feeling anxious. So I have some meditations that are specifically for anxiety and anxiety attacks, depression, like different things like that, that are all saved in a playlist that I have on Spotify. And whenever I'm feeling those overwhelming feelings, I can go to that specific meditation. I can lay on my bed and I can do those breathing exercises and just try to calm my mind and body down. And that is a huge help whenever I do that. It makes a world of difference for me. I also have a playlist on Spotify for like different feelings that I am experiencing, because sometimes I do want to be sad and I need to have a cry and I need to like allow myself to feel those sad feelings. And so I have a playlist specifically for that, that is full of songs that will make me cry my eyes out, whether they are happy or sad songs, to just help me like process that emotion. I also have different playlists for just like different vibes or different moods. Like if I'm nervous about something, but I need to like hype myself up and, not be so self conscious or worried about what's going to happen, I'll listen to like my trap music that will get me super hyped up and feel like a badass, even if I am like going to some kind of like family function that I'm just nervous about. Like having those kinds of playlists available for me, huge. And I love it because it just immediately like switches my mood. I even have a playlist that I listen to before I record podcast episodes. I'm finally not as nervous as I used to be, but a lot of times I am like sweating sitting here recording my episodes. I'm worried about how I look in my YouTube videos, and sometimes I just need to get out of that headspace and be taken into a happier one that's like, you know what? I am the shit. Like, we're going to do this. We're going to do a good job. And I don't need to be worried about all the little details. So, having those visual and audio reminders right there on your phone, I think is huge and can really help you like nip those feelings of anxiety in the bud if you need to, or if you just feel like you are so far gone that like you can't get control back over your mind or over your body or your heart rate or whatever it is. Definitely do one of those meditations. I find them so soothing and so calming, even if it's just for a few minutes, but it usually allows me to clear my head enough that I can come up with a game plan that I need to do to, make this shit happen, whatever it is that needs to be done. So something else that I've learned about my personal anxiety is that I need to be very preventative sometimes. And so if I have some kind of appointment or event coming up, or I feel like I'm going to have a very busy day, then I try to take some moments of quiet first thing in the morning, because if I don't do that to kind of ground myself, it can feel like the day gets away from me and is totally out of control. And nobody likes that feeling. Like, that is not a good feeling. So I love starting those kinds of days with an oracle reading. This is very like woo woo, I know. And you might not be into it. That's totally fine. But oracle cards are basically just a nudge from the universe in one way or the other. They are different from tarot cards. I am not an expert on all of those things and what makes it different. But I know with an oracle deck, I can just sit down on my bed. I think about what kind of answer I'm looking for. And a lot of times I'm just trying to set an intention for the day, or if I'm worried about something specific, I will just kind of keep that thought in my mind and just say, I really want today to be a good day. Where can I focus to like make sure it is a good day? Or if things start to go off the rails, like I want to use this card to like kind of bring me back, center me, ground me, and keep my head on straight for the rest of the day. So I love having that quiet time of just doing that oracle reading, really trying to set an intention for the day, lighting a candle, sitting on my bed and enjoying its warmth, just really trying so hard to make it like a Zen experience that will hopefully carry me through the rest of the day, even if it ends up being a bit crazy. And then I also like to keep that oracle card on the top of my deck or on, my nightstand. Sometimes I'll even take a picture of it or of, the meaning that's in the book, just so I can easily like revisit that throughout the day. But a lot of times, once I kind of do that reading and I read in the book, like the meaning of the card, it pretty much sticks with me for usually the next few days and can kind of show me either an area that maybe needs work in my life or, just a way to be thankful for the way my day has played out, even if it feels a little out of control, and being okay with that. So, another way to be preventative when it comes to your anxiety is saying no to everything. Basically, say no to it before you say yes to anything. Like, that should be your automatic answer. This takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of time. And I've mentioned before, I think I got so good at saying no that I don't get asked to do a lot anymore. And it's honestly kind of nice. Sometimes I have mixed feelings on those things because sometimes I feel like an ass for saying no or not bending over backwards for people. But I've realized that I just was so the other way for a long, long time, picking up people's slack constantly or immediately dropping everything in my life to go assist them with something. I do believe there can be a middle ground and that a lot of people are either those takers who take advantage of the people who love to give so much, or they're just chill, like right in the middle, like doing their own thing, living their life. And that is the kind of person that I want to be. So by saying no to most things, I'm only saying yes to the things I absolutely want to do, which makes me much less stressed and much less anxious because it's something I'm excited to do versus having my calendar and my time filled up with all of this shit that I don't even want to do. So saying no ahead of time is great. And even leading up to something, if you've just had a change of heart or your mental load is way too much and you shouldn't have said yes to that thing, you can always say no. You can always let people down easy. It doesn't always have to be like this big, mean, hateful thing that happens when you say no to something. Hopefully, if that person really does love you and wants to be in your life, they will understand your boundaries and the things that you have going on and will understand if you need to say no. But if you have said yes to something and you're feeling anxious about it, you're feeling a little worried, you're getting in your head about it, there are some things that I like to do to kind of help me in those moments when the anxiety is creeping up and I can't just go bury myself in my bed for 5 or 10 minutes, like to kind of get back under control. So, first, I've talked about this before. This is my anxiety ring. That's what I call it. It's a conquer ring, and I will link it below. But I saw it on TikTok. TikTok made me buy this. So this one's silver. It has like a spinny thing that you can fidget with. That's not normally what I do. I'm one of those people that I love clicking pins. I love clicking things. I love doing things with my hands. So I love this ring. They're making way more than just Conquer Ring brand. Lots of different kind of fidget rings. And like when I first saw the fidget toys, like for kids, I was kind of like, oh my God, like that's ridiculous, blah, blah, blah. Now I'm like, I get it. Sometimes I struggle to sit still, or I just feel like I'm vibrating because of like whatever kind of negative emotion is going on inside. It's like I just need to let it out sometimes. And so Dylan will feel me or hear me sometimes going like as fast as I can. And, sometimes it's not the people in the room, it's not the event that I'm at, there could be tons of different things that are making me feel anxious or uncomfortable. And so it's not always on the other people. It could literally just be me. And, this is a way for me to try to soothe it and get my mind off of it a little tiny bit. But what has helped me even more is my crystals. So Dylan actually bought me crystals kind of as a joke for Christmas. And then I bought my sister and I some tumbled crystals. And so when I got them, I cleansed them, I set their intention, all of that. But then I did some research on what kind of crystals should be, in my office. And so back here on my bookshelf, I have my crystals that are supposed to, promote community and wealth and productivity and all of those things that, would be nice to have in your business or work office. And then I also, looked into what's good for the living room and the bedroom. And then also like what helps that anxiety and relationships with people. So I have this pouch that I keep in my purse, and this has, I think, 4 tumbled crystals in it. So I heard on TikTok or somebody was talking about even just keeping these in your pocket throughout the day, like keeping a crystal with you in your pocket. And I never really thought about using them in that way. And so in my little pouch that I keep in my purse, which is pretty much with me all the time, it's either at home inside or it's in my car or, it's with me at the grocery or wherever. So sometimes I literally have these in my hand, I'll roll them around and just think like, bring me calm, bring me peace, bring me love, like whatever I need to do. Or I'll even just put them in my pocket and throughout the day kind of reach in and just like take a breath. And for me, like I am very new to crystals. I don't know if they do anything, but just me being able to mentally like put those feelings onto something else, a physical thing, and feel like I am releasing myself of that feeling and giving it to something else does wonders for my mindset and for my anxiety. So these 4 particular stones that I have are amethyst, clear quartz, rose quartz, and aventurine. Aventurine? Is that how you say that? I don't know. But these promote lots of different good things. I think I have it pulled up. Oh, on my phone. Almost dropped my crystal. That's not good. But anyway, I am not like a super enthusiast with crystals. I am still very new. So, amethyst reduces anxiety, enhances a sense of control, and assists in defining your boundaries. So, I love having that one ready with me. That way, if I'm like around people or having to be around people or, do something that is not my favorite thing to do, this helps to reduce my anxiety and bring that kind of sense of control back. Aventurine is a buoyancy aid for the emotions, keeping optimism flowing and belief in the spirit of adventure. So I liked the idea of carrying aventurine around for that sense of optimism and knowing like this is going to be a good experience. This is going to be a good day. We are going to have good conversations, like just using those kinds of like affirmations to make it a reality. And then the quartz are very like basic, common crystals. Rose quartz is for love and healing and compassion. Clear quartz is for like manifestation, intention, building that community and relationships. And so I just felt like these were 4 really good crystals to carry with me and, have decent energies to help me when I'm feeling that overwhelm of stress and anxiety. And so there have been days where I have walked around for 20 minutes and like tossed these in my hands. And I felt so much better once I was actually out the door and doing my thing for the day. There have been other times where I was nervous about going to see certain people. And again, I would just keep these kind of in my pocket or in my purse on my way there and just telling myself, like, this is going to be good. We are going to have a good time. We are going to have good conversation. We are going to, make new memories together. And I think just like being able to speak those positive things to yourself, even if it's just in your mind, can kind of tune out all of those bad negative thoughts that seem to just come in uninvited on a regular basis. And so, another great thing that you can do is talk to someone. This can be a partner, a friend, a parent, some other relative. I mean, I wouldn't recommend talking to your children about it unless they're grown, but talking to somebody who is close to you and understands the situation, or even a therapist that can like really help guide you and understand those feelings and what's going on. And I am very thankful that Dylan is always willing to listen to me have my meltdowns and kind of talk me through it, talk me down from things. But also, he taught me something really, really good that I was not automatically doing on my own, but I have begun to because he kind of started this practice with me. And basically, he just started asking me, what's the worst that can happen? What is the worst case scenario? And at first, I was really annoyed that he was asking this because I was like, I know it doesn't seem like a big deal, but it's a big deal. It's a big deal to me. And he was never trying to diminish my feelings and what I was worried about, or, make me feel like I was being ridiculous about something. He simply wanted me to figure out what was the worst case scenario, and it really helped me to start breaking down those feelings that just felt so big and felt like they were suffocating me. Like I couldn't breathe, and like it was this big giant mountain that I was never going to climb. And instead, I just started like, picking away at it and realizing, okay, like this is the worst thing that can happen. And I guess it's really not that bad. We won't lose our house, we won't lose our kid, and just really at the end of the day, knowing that some of the things that you're super anxious about are not actually going to kill you or actually going to drastically change your life. Obviously, sometimes we have situations like that, but on a daily basis, I feel like the voice of our anxiety makes things seem so much harder and more intimidating than they need to be. So maybe just try to do that. If you're not ready to talk to somebody about your anxiety and what you're feeling, maybe just try to really think about what the worst case scenario is. And if it's really that bad, if it's something that you can live with, if it's something that you can't live with, and just making peace with that and knowing that even if it's not an ideal situation, you can get through it. So I hope that a couple of these soothing methods really help you. I would love to know what things you have tried, what things you regularly do to help manage your anxiety, because I'm always looking for new ways to do that. But please know that this whole episode is really coming to you from a place of peace and love and just encouragement to take care of yourself and to stop letting that anxiety always override your day and your life, because it is fucking exhausting. It sucks. And some days, even though I have all of these like tools and routines like in my arsenal, some days it's still just too much. And that's okay if you're feeling that way. If it feels like too much, that's totally normal. But I do hope that some of these things help you manage it better on a more regular basis so that you can just enjoy your life, because you absolutely deserve that. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be taken care of, and you deserve to live the life that you want, not the life that your anxiety is making you think you need. So thank you so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one.